let's pretend that I'm a real booktuber and don't use bits of scrap paper as bookmarks. Oh yeah, you just saw my pyjamas. A magical adventure with magic. This book is chef's kiss beautiful. Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Books and Bargains. Today, I wasn't sure about filming a video. I'm having a bad body image day and I really couldn't be bothered to do hair, makeup, all of that. And then I sat here and I thought, if I watch a booktube video, do I care if the person has no makeup, no nail varnish, etc.? And I thought, no. All I'm interested in is hearing about the books. So that's why I'm here. I don't know if you can read this because it is a bit sparkly in the light, but it says, I would always rather be happy than dignified, and that is a Charlotte Bronte quote. Couldn't tell you what it's from, I just liked it and picked it up, so I will leave the link down below. This is not sponsored or anything, but I bought this from a local shop called Elsie's Attic. So today, as you will have seen in the title, I am talking to you about February book releases that I am excited for. Really annoyed because there are only 9 and I'd rather have a nice round number of 10, but here we go. So I'm going to split these up by age and then genre, although apart from the 2 middle grade books that I'm going to start with, most of this is adult romance, contemporary or historical. If you hear Ernie crying outside the door, I can't let him in because I smashed an ornament, and until I get the Hoover out, I don't want any little bits of glass going in his paws. So, you know, it's a good thing that I'm not letting him in, but he doesn't see it that way. So let's start with the middle grade books, and on the 3rd of February is the new Starfell book. I say new, the book is already out in hardcover. I've been waiting for it in paperback. And that is Willow Moss and the Vanished Kingdom by Dominique Valente. As it is the 3rd book in a series, I really don't want to give too much away. All I can say is these books are absolutely stunning. I gave the first book a 4-star, the second book a 5-star. And I have said before, I believe on my channel, that for those of you that no longer want to support HP and JKR because of her transphobia, I think, although I've never read the HP books myself, so I can't say 100%, but I think that if what you want is a magical adventure with, I was going to say magic, a magical adventure with magic, with family, with all those things, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a better series than Starfell. If I didn't already say, that is going to be released on 3rd of February. Also on the 3rd of February is Elle Mcnicoll's 3rd book, Like a Charm, and this is the first in a series, I believe. I absolutely loved A Kind of Spark, and I still have Elle Mcnicoll's 2nd book to read. I know, shoot me. Should have read it already. Plenty of books on my TBR I should have read already. So this is a book again about family secrets and spells, and our young character Ramya learns there's more to her powers than she knows, and the only warning she's been given by her grandfather is beware the sirens, and this is odds on going to have some of that Elle Mcnicoll sparkle that A Kind of Spark had, and so I hopefully will get to that this year. So another book that I should have finished reading by now, but I have started, is Love Lockdown by Beth Reekles. This is going to be released in paperback, audiobook and Kindle on the 1st of February, so not long to get your pre-orders in for this one. This is basically a block of flats at the very beginning of the pandemic that gets locked down because they've had a positive COVID case in the building. We're following a bunch of different people as they get locked down. So far I've read about somebody that was trying to sneak out after a one-night stand and was told she had to stay. There's a couple that are separated during this because he's at the flat, she's been away, and she's not allowed back into the flat. And the third couple that I've just read about is a couple in the throes of their new relationship, and she's still hiding things from him, and now she realizes that he's gonna have to spend a week seeing her, warts and all. And it's just, I mean, it's fun. I'm still a little bit wary of getting into pandemic non-fiction. I have a nurse's story and duty of care, but I am waiting for some therapy for sort of PTSD caused by working on a COVID ward, and so they absolutely scared me. I cannot watch the Grey's Anatomy yet, it's too raw. However, I did read Catherine Ryan Howard's 56 Days, and that was fiction, and that I really enjoyed. I also read Chloe James, Love Locked Down, I think it was called. I'll put the cover here of that one, and really enjoyed that. And like I say, so far I'm enjoying this one. The next book I'm looking forward to is The Start of Something by Miranda Dickinson, and this is going to be released in paperback, audiobook and Kindle on the 3rd of February. I really love dual narrative romances. I love seeing it from both sides of view. I haven't read a dual narrative romance yet that's queer, so if you know any of them, let me know below. But this follows Lachlan, who has been, I don't think kicked out the army, but his army career is on hold due to a car accident, and he's at home recovering, and he sees that he's got lots of physiotherapy ahead of him. When he looks out of his window, he sees this beautiful bunch of flowers in the house or flat opposite. So he puts a note in his window saying, "Those flowers are beautiful, what are they?" Now, living in the flat with the flowers is Bethan, who is a struggling single mom. And when she sees this note, she then starts to reply, and this blossoms into a love story. I really love Miranda Dickinson's Our Story, which is the only Miranda Dickinson I've read. But when I saw that this was kind of the same love story, dual narrative, I thought, yes, I need to read that one. So I'll hopefully be getting my hands on that one soon. And the third book, which is out on paperback and Kindle on the 22nd of Feb, is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. At the time of filming, I'm about 50% through this book, and I'm going to sit in that chair tonight and I'm going to finish it. I have said before that American fiction is not normally the one for me, but so far this book is chef's kiss beautiful. This follows Delilah Green, and Delilah Green is I think she is a lesbian. Don't think we've said, I know that the other character is bisexual, but I don't think Delilah has put a label on it yet, other than that she is into women. It starts off with her in bed with a woman, and it's just so funny. The first scene, she can't remember the woman's name, and I found myself giggling a lot to that. But actually more comes into it. So she goes home, she's part of her stepsister's wedding, she's a photographer, and there's all these kind of, her stepmom, she was always the weird kid, the awkward kid in her youth. And I think I said when I read, oh, what was the book called? I think it was called The Secret of You and Me. I'll put the cover here. I read that last year. Melissa Lenhart it was. And I really loved this kind of escaping the town or wherever that you've grown up in, and what it's like to go back as an adult as a different person. And I think about that a lot, because although I still go back to my hometown, especially a lot more at the moment, seeing as there's things going on there, not going to talk about that here, but they do make me very happy. I was in very much denial back then that I was bisexual. I fully believed that it was okay for other people to be queer, but I just couldn't allow myself to think it was okay for me. And so I sometimes have these very resentful feelings towards that. Now, in the book as well, she starts to flirt with her stepsister's friend Claire, and Claire is bisexual. Claire has a child with a man and has had relationships with both men and women. I think actually, now I'm thinking about it, it says that Delilah has relationships with queer women and NBs, which, yeah, like I say, I'm not fully through it yet. However, this is somebody that when they came out when she was at school, she really admired that they'd come out as bisexual. And yeah, I'm just really loving it. So I don't want to ramble too much. I thought, oh, 9 books to talk about. This is going to be a quick video. But looking at my timer, I've already been rambling for 11 minutes. So one adult book that I'm just classing as adult contemporary is The Very Last List of Vivian Walker. And this is a debut novel by Megan Albany. This is out on the 9th of February on Kindle, and this is following a terminally ill woman who says that her family won't let her lift a finger at first, but when the novelty of her being terminally ill wears off, she starts to think about putting her affairs in order before she will die. She realises that her life has turned into a kind of love letter to the mundane, and I just want to read you a quote that just drew me into this book. So it says that this book will make you ugly cry, snort tea out of nose with laughter, and want to embrace humanity in all its selfishness, beauty and awkwardness. And I've just got a little bit of fascination with books about death and the kind of legacy that we leave behind. And yeah, I really want to read that. Haven't heard anyone else talking about this, so it's a punt. It's just come out of the blue, left field, whatever other euphemisms you want to use, and I really hope that I enjoy it. And then I actually have 3 historical fiction. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you will know that I'm not big into historical fiction, and yet last year one of my favourite books of the year was The Paris Library by Janet Skeslin Charles. And so the first 2 are kind of on that similar vein. The first one especially, which is The Little Wartime Library by Kate Thompson. This is out on the 17th of February in Kindle, audio and hardback. And this follows a underground secret library during the war. Wartime fiction, again, was not the one for me, but anything to do with war and libraries just fascinates me. The Paris Library, it really talks about how important the library was during the war, and I think that this one will do the same. So this is based on true events of an underground library in Bethnal Green that became a community during the war, and that's all I really know about it, but it really, really stood out to me. The second one is actually post-war, and this is an author that I read for the first time, I believe, in 2020. And this is The Lost Chapter by Caroline Bishop. This will be out in paperback, audio and Kindle on the 3rd of February, so not long to wait. And this follows a friendship. It starts in 1957 France with Florence and Lily, I believe, who were close friends, and a betrayal tore them apart. We then flash forward to a future date when Lily ends up taking a young girl, Alice, under her wing, the same way that Florence did for her back in the day, and she is writing a book about the time in the past. I'm not making much sense. I hope you understand this. And when Florence starts reading it, she realises that it is about that time, and long buried secrets are going to come out. One thing I really loved about Caroline Bishop's first book, which was The Other Daughter, is that she really seamlessly melted these 2 timelines into one. So although we went back and forward, I never got lost. I managed to keep up with what was going on. So yes, that was a positive, and I'm really looking forward to that one. And last but by no means least, on the 3rd of February in Kindle, audio and hardback, we have Devotion by Hannah Kent. Now, I think that this was a piece of unsolicited book mail. Either that or my brain fog has gone completely off the wire, because I don't remember even hearing about this. I know that Hannah Kent is the author of Burial Rites, which I believe believe Leanne has recommended on her channel. So basically, this came through my door and I thought, oh, okay. Had a little read of the back and I'm really enjoying it. It's a little bit harder to read. It's not an easygoing book like I usually read. However, this is set in 1836 Prussia, which I'd never heard of. It's a state in Germany. They are a Lutheran community. I think my history is terrible. I dropped it as soon as I could at school because I hated it. Fancied the teacher though, but that's a different story. They're offered a safe passage to Australia. There is already, I mean, I'm only that far in and I don't know if this is queer, but I feel like it could be. There's this friendship blooming between Hanny and Thea and it's just beautiful. I'm getting kind of Pull of the Star vibes in their relationship, but also the way that this book describes nature, I feel like I'm getting what I wanted to get from Where the Crawdads Sing. I didn't like Where the Crawdads Sing, I thought it was boring, but the descriptions of nature in this one are spot on for me, and yeah, wanted to share that here. But like I say, I'm only this far through, so look out for my, I don't think I'll get this finished in January, so this will probably be in my February wrap up. So there you go, that is 9 books that I'm really excited for this month. Have you got any of these on your radar already, and is there any that I have missed? What books are you looking forward to in February? As always, please do leave me a comment below. I try to respond to every comment I get and I really love interacting with you guys. If you haven't already subscribed, again, feel free to subscribe below. From not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, my weekly vlogs will be back. So in that I will be including any book mail. I will be keeping you up to date on the books that I'm reading and what I'm thinking as I go along. However, coming up this Wednesday is an absolutely belated best books of 2021, which I wasn't going to do, but I can't let the year just go by without talking about some of those books. So I hope you're all well, or as well as you can be with a chronic illness. And until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.